welcome back then to Mature Racing Club's Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship, and can you believe it, week 3 is upon us. Races 5 and 6, starting up with Sardegna. We're at the B layout today, which is kind of like a prime art version of Barcelona's Catalunya circuit in kind of a weird way. So this one in the Aston Martins, where we all have to use the same car. I've had promotion from this league. I'm in Elite 1 now, so my racing's actually being commentated on by someone else. Links in the description below. You can go and check out all the other commentators, and I would humbly request you do so, because they all do some really good work. Let's have a bit of a flick through the qualifying order then. So sticking on pole was Chichi. He had a bad week 1, but last week he started really redeeming himself, and he snatched pole here at Sardegna. So well done to him. My teammate Raffo, Team PlayStation, big up. He's in P2, so he's going to be looking to steal it away from the sausage wagon in first. Tim27, another driver that had a bit of a poor first week, but he's got into the groove of it now, and he's starting to really produce some results. He's in P3. Sayrexic, again a bit of a mixed bag for Sayrexic. Battled with his teammate quite a lot at most occasions, but again, on his day, as we've seen in previous races, he can really mix it up. Rear wheel 72, P5 for the Samsung driver. P Gib 92. You'll be familiar with P Gib from the channel. Gibbo for pole wasn't activated today, I'm afraid, but he joins the league. I don't know if he did a stint in Rockies or not, I can't quite remember, but he's in 6 in quali. Then we've got Mung in the Quick Fit team, P7. JC in the HKS team, he's in P8. Angus McCope, who has come down from a higher league, he's in 9th, and then Piper in 10th. We only have 10 drivers here today, so in terms of action, we might not see that much. This might be quite heavily edited, but let's see. So everyone seems to get away well. It is a quite a decent run to turn 1. Turn 1's going to be the most popular overtaking spot for most drivers as well. Chichi seems to get away well. It's Tim and Sayrexic battling for that third position. Tim with the inside line might well get that move made. One of the cars behind, that was a Budweiser car, got a bit of a bump. That was P Gib, got a little bit of a tap from one of the cars behind. It just unsettled him a little bit, but he survived. And then the battling behind Angus McCope looking for a way through. So is Piper against JC in the background. Piper looked like he was going side by side there. We'll see if he manages to pull it off. And that is Piper past the HKS machine. And Piper's immediately going on the attack here against Angus McCoble, who has spent the first 2 weeks of his GTTCC Season 14 career in Elite 1. Meanwhile, as we come down towards the big braking zone, again, this is where you'll see a lot of overtakes happening. The cars do really have to slow down for this corner, but not too much doing at the minute. Piper got really loose on the brakes there. So far, Chichi's escaping out away in the lead. You can see everyone hold his car off in the background. Let me just see who that was. I think I know what car it was. Oh, there it is, it's Monk. So what happened to Mung then? He was running 7th, no one behind him. So we can get it nice and steady into this. It don't happen here, does it? So it's behind P Gib. Does he get this? But this is a very difficult part of the course. Yeah, he just runs a wheel there on the right hand side, and Mung stays out of the way of the other cars, and actually just nerves himself just to stay clear of other cars, to be fair. So fair play for good sportsmanship there from Mung, but it has affected his race position. So just a little bit about the race then. So it's 30 minutes in the Aston Martin Vantage GT4s, and the only thing the drivers have to worry about is tyre wear. So the tyre wear multiplier is ×4, which isn't horrific, but the Aston does like to chew its tyres a little bit. It isn't the most tyre friendly vehicle there is in the game, so especially at a track like Sardegna where you've got quite a lot of high load corners, lots of braking zones. The front right in particular takes an absolute kicking around this circuit, so you would expect most people to stick with a one-stop strategy around the halfway mark. Would would probably make the most amount of sense. So the top three starting to run away with things. Chichi, GT, Raffo and Tim. Behind that CJW-Racing is leading away to rear wheel man a little bit. P-Gibbs just looking to leech onto the back of these guys now and start to make moves up. Actually, P-Gibbs gets a really good run out of there. He's going to have a go at rear wheel, but rear wheel's going to show him the outside door, and I'm afraid no room at the end for P-Gibbs today. It's a half an hour race though, so 20-21 laps is what you should expect out of this one. As we start to see Raffo pile the pressure on. This long straight though has a particular characteristic that it's got prime suck, so you get some really strong slipstream coming down here, which sets up a lot of overtakes beautifully down into turn 1. As Chichi puts the fastest lap on the board of 25.3. So yeah, the top three starting to run away a little bit. Got to be careful on the right there. That sand trap is very unforgiving, and it will bite you if you need it. Piper's lost his way somewhere. He's down in 9th. Jace has actually got himself back up into 8th. He's currently having a look at the back end of Angus McCollum's car. Nothing changing at the top. The top three still as they were. Good little battle kicking off here between Piper and Mung. Piper goes a little bit deep in that corner. Mung has to go to the outside, which is definitely not the preferred way to get an overtake done through the outside there. With the camber of the corner, it's faster to stay on the inside and just get the slingshot out. But you do still get some quite powerful slipstream coming down to the big braking zone for the right-hander. Mung's going to try and set himself up. Piper doesn't defend this one. Mungino, you can see the brakes glowing there with the Aston Martin in the Sardegna dusk, and Mung gets that move up to P9. He can start to chase down JC, who's running away in P. In fact, JC's actually just got past Angus McCollum up there as well. Did miss that bit. So how does JC get this done? Does Angus just run it a little bit deep? Oh yeah, he just touches the outside there. That just loses your momentum coming up the hill, and this is one part of the track you need your momentum, and that's an easy overtake in the end for JC, who's just got a good drive out the corner. And yeah, Angus trying to fight that on the outside, gonna have to tuck back into it. Just try and get the move made back under slipstream down to turn 1, the top three. It's still escaping away. There's a clear pace. Tim actually set the 24.9 that lap. That's incredible pace there by Tim. The Aston Martin takes some specific characteristics behind its driving, I would say. Being a front end and rear wheel drive. It's the more traditional layout for these GT4 cars. Probably why it was selected as the one make. But some people like myself just can't really ever get to grips with it. It's taken a bit more time to get used to the car than I would have ever imagined. Meanwhile then, towards the back of the grid, lap 4, 5 minutes into the race. A little bit of separation between all the guys at the back. CP Gibb just run it a little bit wide there. People using the green strip here, just like Jace is doing now, can be quite treacherous. Jace actually carries far too much speed in there, spins the car. Angus McCollum smashes into the side of him. I'm gonna guess Angus was completely unsighted there. Would have always struggled to get out of the way of that one, but again, sportsmanship prevails, and JC, knowing that his mistake caused that, just pulls over to the side and lets Angus McCollum continue ahead of him. So accidents will happen. It's motorsport after all. This Piper's invented a new way to take the last corner. Yeah, it's motorsport after all. Accidents will of course happen. Raffo's now starting to get to grips with Chichi a little bit more. Chichi lost about 4 or 5 attempts on him that lap. Tim, even though he set the fastest lap of the race so far, also didn't have a great lap 4, so Raffo's starting to try and put the pressure a little bit on Chichi. We'll see if the sausage wagon can withstand the pressure. Pretty much, other than these guys who've just had that accident, other than that, it's pretty much order unchanged here. with only 10 drivers. There are a lot of points to play for. Join us as we start lap 8. It's become very close between Chichi and Raffo. There's a little bit of a fight going on in the background as well between Cyrex and rear wheel. We'll have a quick look at that. Oh, actually, rear wheel's looking down the inside. So we might just rewind for a second, just see if Cyrex gets him back. He does actually really good exit by Cyrex, but let me just see how that unfolded for rear wheel. So he's just going to get the traction, the slipstream coming down towards turn 1. So you break about 100 metres coming down here. Rear wheel gets it nicely tucked onto the apex, but has to go a little bit deep, and that does just give Cyrex the drive out of the corner. So Cyrex lives to fight another day for the time being, but rear wheel is definitely starting to pile the pressure on. Tim has begun to start lapping in the 26s now. Potentially the tyres are starting to go on him a little bit, and that is putting him into this 4th and 5th fight basically, rather than attaching himself to the back of these guys who are still lapping in the 25s really. So good pace between the top 2. It must be said I did just observe Raffo. He did have an opportunity to actually pass Raffo, but as we just see these guys battling away again, he did have an opportunity to go for a move, but he backed out of it. So let's see if rear wheel's got the slipstream here on the Michelin car. The Michelin car shows him the outside, and that does enable Cyrex to defend it quite nicely. It is a good track to attack on, so plenty of overtaking opportunities. But equally, I mean, in my race, I had a car sat behind me that plainly had better pace than I did, and I was able to defend from him for an entire stint. Just because I knew where to put my car. So it's quite difficult to overtake on, even with the long straight. I think it's too early for most people to be pitting. I'd be surprised if we see anyone pit this lap, because that means you're just going to have a really, really long stint on your next set of tyres, which isn't ideal. So yeah, Tim's starting to come under pressure from Cyrex now. Tim was escaping from this fight early on. Actually just ran a 27.2 lap. Yeah, you can see it, it's his tyres, it's on the exit. The car's just got no out of corner traction compared to the other cars. So Tim might well start coming under pressure here. Rear wheel might start getting involved in that, and if these guys carry on, there is a lurking P-Gib in the background that would quite like to get involved in this fight as well. You see how much later Cyrex is able to brake, and yeah, he's just able to keep that nice and tidy, but no room at the end to get past Tim just yet. Top 2 still fighting away. Probably suggest end of next lap is when we'll start to see some of these guys in the pits. Some might come in now, but it's for a brave undercut opportunity if they're going to try and do it now. Just see how much, yeah, Tim's car just has no lateral grip. So none of these guys pit. Tim really needs a slipstream of that car ahead, because rear wheel is going to go on the attack here. He's going to try it around the outside. Tim able to use a slipstream from the car ahead to help him defend a little bit. Rear wheel, can he do it outside? No, he's having to back out of that one. We do see Angus McCoat up in the pits, so he's trying something different here. He's getting a new pair of boots on that. That will bring him out in. We'll bring him out. Yeah, he'll bring him out last. But he's got the freshest tyres out of everyone now. So let's see if he can take advantage of those. Chichi and Raffo still fighting away. I'd imagine that will just that's probably a battle that will just continue on. Oh, we've got a spinner, and that's Tim. The tyres have let him down once and for all. So coming around the banked right-hander, he might just get on the power a bit too early and touch the right. Yeah, sends gravel all over the place, and fortunately he manages to do a very neat 360. This is a full 360 no scope Aston Martin version. The tyres just don't want to grip. And nicely done, to be fair. That's it's quite pleasing to see that he managed to full 360 that. So the pit stops, I shouldn't imagine will change too much up. Not at this stage. Tim's going to get passed here by Mung. Of course, those tyres now are going to be like 50p pieces, so he's got to struggle for grip with those things. Right, so looks like the body language of these cars is coming into the pits. Yeah, the top two pit, and I'd imagine everyone now is just going to pile in. Yeah, the whole field's going to come in, I think. We do actually have a car continuing. That's Tim and Mung continuing on, which is surprising. The top two managed to pit, get fresh tyres, and come out again, still ahead of these guys. These guys can be a bit of a fly in the ointment for the drivers, though, if they do try and no-stop this race. It's a very brave call to try and no-stop this one. Which is not a fun track to drive when your tyres are starting to feel a little bit second-hand. All drivers have been in the pits now, with a couple of exceptions. So the top two have pitted. Mung hasn't. Mung is now going into the 28s on his lap time. Bearing in mind fresh tyres will put you in the sort of 25s, 26 range, and you can just see how second hand these tyres are feeling on Mung's car now. Very deep into the tight right hander. That's going to slow CJW-Racing up though a little bit. You can see Mung's tyres just don't want to grip. That front white especially, so on these left hand turns the car will just want to spear on out, and CJW-Racing is pushing probably a little bit too hard to get past that car, loses it himself, loses a place to rear wheel and to P-Gib, and will also lose momentum coming down the main straight. So Mung actually pits now, so he's coming into the pits on lap 12, so he will have to fresh his tyres out of everyone towards the end of the race, because he's held on to his first stint for that long. The top two still unchanged, still battling away. Rear wheelman now up into a third place. P-Gib has slipstream, he's got past CJW-Racing, because we saw before, and kept away from the slipstream, and he's now up to P4 with Mung pitted. Tim will be looking for a better second stint. He's not too far behind that little fight ahead, so things could still go well for Tim. Mung now out of the pits. He is ahead of JC, Angus McCope and Piper. So a new fastest lap set, 24.8 by Chichi. As we round the end of lap 13, and he's got another 11 and a bit minutes to withstand the pressure from Rafa, which has been there pretty much all race. Rafa has rarely been more than half a second away, I should imagine. This has been very close. Rafa's always been there in his rearview mirror. Been an ever-present threat as a PlayStation car, but not a nuisance. So that these guys, to be fair, have probably been working together quite a lot as well, and just escaping anyone else running behind. They will probably just have their fight in the last 5 or 10 minutes. So they'll settle their differences towards the end of the race, no doubt about it. You see that Rafa not able to make a move past. So CJW-Racing going to be looking for a move on P-Gib. P-Gib doesn't defend it. CJW-Racing is going to go down the inside of P-Gib. So a nice move by CJW-Racing. A bit surprised to see Gibbo didn't defend that one, but he's quite happy just following a car rather than having one up his chuff all the time. A little bit of a penalty there for Mung. I wasn't too sure why he's got that. Potentially you do get them for little corner cuts, so there's not many corners you can cut here at Sardegna. It's pretty much just the last turn. And the Sausage King is proving to be the king of Sardegna at the minute, as Rafa just gets it a little bit wild there. A couple of drivers have been doing that. They all seem to be getting away with it for the time being though. I know there was a lad in our league that did the exact same thing, and he ended up spinning round. So yeah, 10 minutes remaining, about 6 laps of this Sardegna circuit, and Chichi utterly dominant at the minute. If it finishes like this, it'll be a lights to flag victory for Chichi. And yeah, they're good 7/10 faster than Rafa that lap round, so Rafa definitely not piling the pressure on right now. Rear wheel has escaped the clutches of CJW-Racing. CJW-Racing, who has instead got the attentions of the Budweiser driver. going to try and sneak one past the Michelin car, but so far is proving to be a tough task. Tim looks pretty safe from attacks from behind, so he can just focus on his laps. He is indeed now back in the 25s and the 26s, so his pace is back on form. It was the tyres. And the guys at the back, unchanged mostly. Beginning to wonder at this minute in time if the P&P Gib 92 stands for pressure, because that's what he's putting all over Racing at the minute as we start lap 15. And he's rubbing his Budweiser all over the back of that Michelin, and again, as we saw, we can't quite make that move happen. So Racing for the time being just about surviving. P-Gib getting really good drive out of the corners though. I think that's what's helping him in the attack. Sardegna is nice and tidy mid-apex, but P-Gib just able to extract that extra little bit coming out of the corners. His entry there is really tidy, but you can see the slingshot coming out of the corner there by P-Gib as he runs side by side, then coming down to the big braking zone. P-Gib here is going to have the inside line. This move is all but made. All he needs to do is be brave on the brakes. Put your big boy pants on and get the move made. Hits the apex nicely. Save exit this time gets the better exit of the two, but P-Gib places his car nicely and just gets that move finalised into the next left-hander. So that's P-Gib up to 4th now. But with I was just going to say, with 8 minutes remaining, Sardegna can have a pop back at him, but he did it immediately. So good racing between these two. Very nice and respectful. P-Gib can start putting the pressure on yet again. See if anything can happen down into turn 1. Let's flick to the top. Nothing happening between these two. Rear wheel still doing rear wheel things in P3. P-Gib again down the inside of Sardegna, so the Budweiser mobile back up to 4th, but Sardegna might just try and get his car tucked into the inside for the shorter run, and P-Gib lets him have that essentially. So Sardegna is going to get this move made down the inside now. It's hard to defend around the outside of this corner, you just kind of have to let it happen. Yeah, for the time being, very good driving between 4th and 5th. Let's off a flip back. So Tim, now that he's got his groove back, could end up catching those guys. He's running faster lap times than the guys ahead. He's just running out of time as well to get much done about it. Mung, 7th, late pit stop probably harmed his chances a little bit, but he's safely in 7th. There's very little risk from the cars behind in terms of lap time unless he has an off ski. Chichi then so far continuing his domination of this race. Rafael also picks up a little bit of a penalty, so even if Rafael got to the back of Chichi again, he couldn't overtake with his carrying that. He's going to have to get rid of that. And again, these two carry on their assault. It is Sardegna versus P-Gib once more as we start another lap. Their lap times then are starting to dip into the 27s. Tim 26.6 that time out, so Tim went about 7 or 8 tenths quicker that lap than these two. And if they continue fighting, they will bring Tim into the realm a little bit. He's not too far away. All Tim has to do is just try and keep his tyres alive, so that he's got some rubber left for when that fight invariably comes. If he's gonna, if these guys carry on fighting, that may be a realistic possibility for like the final lap, but they have got to carry on fighting. The minute time is too far back really to do anything about it. Go. Sardegna has got the inside line. He's going to be able to defend this one nice and easy. P-Gib not able to do much at that stage. Rafael's got rid of most of that penalty. He's losing Chichi though. Chichi's with good lap times around here at the minute. 25.7 last time, 26.2 that time round for Rafael. Actually got caught by rear wheel a little bit in terms of lap times. Not much going on at the back in terms of battling. Chichi's got just 5 minutes to survive. again. These two look fighting away. Every time we come to them, every single time. 26-8 that time, 25. Tim didn't really catch him that time round. It's a tough one to call between these two. At the minute, Pigib is doing enough, but he keeps running on the gravel like that. He won't do, because that's going to give CJW-Racing a run now, coming down into the right-hander. This is the favourite overtaking spot for most drivers. Pigib has to go on the defensive. Oh, just a little bit of tap on the wall there. That just nulls his momentum a little bit coming up the hill. It's going to really prevent any major attack. What's the gap? What gaps are we looking at? So between Chichi and Rafa it's 2.4 and 2 seconds behind CJW-Racing and Tim. So this is a more realistic fight than we're likely to see. The bad news for Tim though is Pigib and CJW-Racing's fight has been nulled a little bit. Really needed them to carry on fighting in order to catch up, but he's not that far behind, so you never know. You never know. We've got 3 and a bit minutes left of this one, so probably another 2 or 3 laps. So although time isn't his friend, it's not over yet. Rafo's time starting to dip into the high 26s, maybe even the 27s. No such work for Chichi, who's still looking like he's lapping comfortable lap times and doesn't really look like he's been troubled at all this last the second stint. Those two are glued together the first stint, but since the pit stops, that all seems to have changed. Real fight on track, the one that probably is going to be the closest is the gap, but it is the fight between Pigib and CJW-Racing. This second stint for those guys has been not a bloodbath, it's far from it. It's been really good racing, to be fair. Don't even know what I said then. Yeah, it's been really good to watch. It's just hard to predict how it might go. Again, these guys dipping into the 27s, so is Tim though. I want to say Tim might have cooked his tyres catching them. Really done enough to catch up to her, I'm afraid. Chichi's just got to keep it on the black stuff, you think, and providing he does that, he will bring home his first win of the season here in Pro 1. Might as well stick with it. We've probably got just one more lap after this to go, and then that should be it. So yeah, no such resurgence in the Pigib v CJW-Racing fight. Has been largely calm. So on to the final lap now. Chichi still leading the way with Rafa in second place. Rear wheel currently holding third, nice and comfortably as well. No threat from behind. Although he's lapping in good lap times, potentially even quicker than the cars ahead at some stages. He's just out of the slipstream. He's a bit too far back. Pigib, very eventful race for him. He'll be quite happy with this if it stops as it is. CJW-Racing, 5th for CJW-Racing with Tim in 6th. Tim, who did spend a large portion of the race in 3rd place. 7th for Mung as it stands with JC in 8th. A little bit of a change in order at the back. So this is Angus. This is right at the back of the grid. So this is Piper in the Red Bull car versus Angus McCullough. Nice overtake there by Angus McCullough on the final lap to get up to P9. We'll see if Piper can get that place back. Meanwhile, 30-minute time has elapsed. The final lap boards have flashed up in the driver's cockpits. And for Chi Chi, it's just one last little complex to navigate. And then that's it. So Chi Chi brings home a win of race number 5 in the Pro-Am League of GTTCC Season 14. Well done to him. Raffo, solid P2 for Raffo. Good points. Rear wheel brings it home for the final podium position in P3. Pete in the end solidified that 4th place with CJW-Racing in 5th. We've got Tim in 6th. Mungino is going to bring it in for 7th place, weaving his way across the line. Extra style points. In fact, is he going to bring it home in 7th because he's crashed? Is he going to reverse it across the line? He does. Mung, what are you doing? Did he think the line was a little bit further? Let's have a look. This is Jace. So Jace is 8th. Oh, Mung reversed across the line. He's just, that's flexing, that is. And these two, Angus McCullough and Piper, 9th and 10th for these guys.